Welcome to the Flash Performance Garage. My name is Chad and it's time to do a transmission service on my Toyota 4Runner. This is a 2007 and we're going to use some special tools to make it happen. On this 2007 Toyota 4Runner, the engine department was on a special case that day. They decided to not have a transmission fluid dipstick. And according to the OE service information, the transmission fluid is supposed to last for the lifetime of the transmission. Well, I guarantee that when the transmission fluid fails, the transmission will fail at the exact same time. Thanks, Toyota. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to change that transmission fluid out, and I'm going to show you some special tools that we're going to use to be able to do that. One of those is going to be from MaxiSys. This is a fluid extractor and pump, and I'll show you why we're going to need this, because we're going to need to pump fluid uphill and into the transmission, and then we're going to use our Autel MaxiSys Ultra to be able to do a little bit of data information we need to be able to make sure we're at the right temperature on the transmission. So let's get started. Now that we're under the Toyota, you can see that there's two plugs in the drain pan. This one here is actually a stem that sticks up, and that is what determines the height of our fluid. And there's one back here that actually is the drain for the transmission pan. Now to fill it, we have to look back up here where I have my socket. There is a 22 millimeter plug up here. We're going to take that plug out. And now we got to figure out how to get fluid up and into that hole. And the way that we're going to do that is with this guy. This is from MaxiSys, and this is a fluid extractor and dispenser. But the beautiful part about this guy here is it has 1.5 liters or 1.5 quarts of fluid capacity, and you can take this off and put your fluid, whatever you want to, in there to pump uphill. Now, I've been using this guy for a couple of months, and it has been phenomenal. I've used this thing for putting differential fluid in, pumping transmission fluid uphill, and it makes it so much easier than using those pumps that go in the bottle that you have to really fight against. This has a big enough piston in it that I can push that up relatively easy. I mean, you're pumping fluid still, but relatively easily to pump that uphill and into the transmission. Now, according to the service information, it says that I need to put 3.2 quarts into the transmission. So I'm going to pump a little over 3.2 quarts into there, and then we'll go to the next step, which is heating up or warming up the transmission fluid. So for this never need to be replaced transmission fluid, what we're going to do is we're going to fill this guy up with transmission fluid first. So that hose will come off. We'll go ahead and take that all the way down. And we're going to fill this guy as much as we can with transmission fluid. Now, luckily, the neck on this is actually pretty big, so it's pretty easy to get as much fluid in there as we can. I'm going to fill it all the way up. Set that down. Screw the neck back on. Now, the neck does have a lock and unlock on it, so when we're in the lock position, no fluid comes down. So we don't have to worry about that. So we can pop the top off of there and pump this guy into the transmission. Make sure we unlock our valve, put our hose in. This has got a metal tip on it so it fits in there nicely. You don't have to worry about it collapsing on you. And then we're just going to push up. Not putting a tremendous amount of effort into it, just applying a little bit of force so we can see it pumping up into there. So that's an easy way to pump 1.5 quarts. I'm going to suck it down, try and get all that fluid out of there so it doesn't drip. Put the cap back on, and then we'll fill it up again. One of the main reasons I'm changing out the fluid in this is because it started to shudder. It started to have a little bit of a shimmy and a shake to it. And we did some research on it and found out that it's very common for these torque converters to have a a shimmy to them, and they said, well, you need to replace the torque converter. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. So I picked this up. This is high mileage formula transmission stop slip. This is actually from Rizalone, and I've used this product before, and I've had some great success with it. And I don't want to put this into my fill tube by itself because this stuff is a little bit thicker. I want to make sure that I mix it with transmission fluid so it makes it easier to pump in. So I'm going to pour this into my 1 gallon jug. And I'll let that drain for a second, and then I'll mix that up. I'll put it in my filler and get it going. Now that I got that all poured in, I'm just going to shake that around. You can see how this stuff is a little tacky, which is phenomenal. And once it mixes with the fluid, and this does leak repair, but it also does the repairs hard shifting and eliminates that slipping and that shudder. It's been a phenomenal product. I liked it a lot, and made in the USA. I love that. All right, we're going to mix that up a little bit. Pour that back into our dispenser here. And on this application, it's okay if we actually overfill a little bit, because we're going to use that drain in the bottom to get it to the right level. So there is about 3 quarts, and I need to put a little bit over there because it calls for 3.2. So let's put just one more in there. Over here on the lift, I have these brackets that I put my air hose in. I got these from Lyle Tools, but they also work perfect. You put your jug down there on the floor, and then you just put that T-handle right in there, and that will let that drain all the way out. That way the next time you need to use this for any fluid, whether it be transmission fluid, oil, or even differential fluid, that'll all drain out nice and clean. I don't have to worry about trying to clean that out every time. Gravity will do all the work for me. Now it's time to get the transmission heated up. The next step in the process is to warm up the transmission. I have it full, and I have cycled it into gears, and now we need to warm it up. We're going to go ahead and do an auto ID and an auto detect. I already have the VCI in the vehicle. There's my vehicle, okay. It is a 2007. Figured out my region and my engine and all that information. Here are all the different possibilities for control modules. I know that the engine is also controlling the transmission, as you can see there, so we're going to go at OK. I'm going to go into live data. I can go through all these PIDs and try and find it. What I'm just going to do is click search and type in temp. Drop that back down, and there is automatic transmission oil temperature 1 and 2. So you can see currently I'm at 79 degrees and 78 degrees respectively. But what I don't want to do is just sit here and wait for the temperature to go up on this scan tool while I just sit here and watch it. So I'm going to show you a little trick to be able to have the scan tool alert you when it's time to come back. So what we're going to do is we're going to select and put this into a graph. Now we have the automatic transmission oil temperature in a graph form. We're going to go down here to settings, and we're going to set a buzzer alarm for automatic oil temperature number 1. We want that to start at 115 degrees, and we want that to end at 133. We want that buzzer alarm on and done. Now we can see on my graph, I see 2 red lines. That is the temperature settings that I had just inputted. I'm going to make that bigger. And we can see that as this goes up, once it passes that red line, it's going to actually buzz or ding at me. So I know that it's time to come back and check the transmission fluid. So now we wait. So as you can see on the screen, we're right at 113 degrees and there's no sound coming out of the tool. I'm going to take my microphone, I'm going to put it back behind the tool so that way we can see whenever that dinger hits, as soon as it hits 115, so you can hear what it sounds like. Now that we're in that window, the dinger is going off, and now we know it's time. So let's get this thing up in the air and make sure that our fluid is at the right level. Didn't see a bunch of fluid coming out, so I'm going to add a little bit more to it. Now we know our fluid level is perfect, up to temperature, and just barely coming over that straw. I'm going to put information on all the tools used in the description below, so make sure you check that out. I'm also going to have more videos coming on the MaxiSys Ultra from Autel. It's a pretty phenomenal machine. I think you're going to like it. So doing a transmission service on a Toyota 4Runner is not your normal transmission service. Yes, I did replace the transmission filter in this vehicle. I didn't want to put that on video just because it's not that exciting, but I wanted to show you some of these specialty tools you may need if you're doing a project like this. I'm Chad from Flash Performance. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.